Shut up and sit down.
Hello, my friend. You are listening to the Dance Studio Scaled podcast, the number one place for innovative marketing, retention strategies, and business growth ideas made just for dance studio owners. Now, this isn't your average business podcast. We're here to shake things up, simplify the hustle, and focus on real, actionable insights. I'm your host, Jen Dalton, and after 30 years of running studios, coaching owners, and scaling businesses, I know one thing's for sure. There's no one size fits all in this industry. You've got the passion and I've got the tools to help you take it to the next level. So hit that subscribe button, grab a coffee, and let's scale your studio together. Hi everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Dance Studio Scaled podcast. Now, here's the thing. Keeping students long-term doesn't just happen by chance. It's not about crossing your fingers and hoping that they love it enough to stay. Retention starts from the very first interaction. So I like to think of that very first interaction as being the first time they hear about you, or the first time they see something about you, or they find you. So whether that is online or whether that's in a conversation with someone. But from that very first moment, every single touch point from then shapes their decision whether they're going to stick around or they're going to move on. So if you've ever felt like you're constantly replacing students instead of growing your numbers, then this episode is a good one for you. So if you have the opportunity to take notes, I'm just going to walk you through the exact customer journey strategy, including the touch points, the onboarding, and the retention strategies broken down. That will hopefully not only fill your classes, but then keep them engaged forever. We want them forever, right? That's the goal. And so this is going to be very practical. It's going to be proven strategies that work. And I can say that confidently because at the point where I left, when I sold my studio, I had students that I was teaching and they were now bringing their students, their children to learn dance with me now. So I know that the retention side of things works. Okay, let's do this. So why does day one matter more than you think? Let's talk about those first impressions. When a new student walks into your studio, they are making split-second judgments. And so they might be thinking to themselves, like, does this place feel like I belong? Am I excited to come back next week? Do I trust these people with my time and energy? And then on the other side of that, you've got parents. Like, are they thinking, is this professional and organized? Does my child feel safe and happy here? Is this studio worth the money that I am paying? Retention starts before they even take their first class. And I have a real life example of this. And it's actually me as a customer inquiring about dance classes. So I don't know if I've even mentioned it here, but probably about 18 months ago, I was looking for dance classes for myself, particularly tap because it's my favorite. So I was looking for a ladies or an adults tap class and started searching around the area. I didn't want it to be too far away from home because now I'm an old lady. I don't want to be in bed too late. However, started some inquiries. There are a few different options in our area and just outside. And one of them, I saw a post come up in a community group and I thought, oh, okay, excellent. She's offering adult classes. And in the post, she said, send me a DM. No problem, did that. And what I thought I'd do is I'm literally going to read through the interaction just so you can see how the journey for me was not flow, it was not easy. And ultimately, heads up, I didn't go. I didn't join. I didn't enroll permanently. So anyway, here's just a real life example. Obviously, I'm not using names. All right, so this post come up. I've sent an email. Hey, put a name in. I'd love to know more about your classes on a Wednesday. How much is each lesson and can I come casually? Thanks, Jen. Then she's got back to me. Hey, Jen, thanks for reaching out. Our classes are more for those who can commit to the term. So if you're able to do that, then let me know and I'll be happy to let you know more about it. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting response. Already I'm feeling like I'm not welcome, but that's fine. Maybe I'm just taking it personally. Anyway, so my next message was, what's the cost? And then she's come back, $15 for one class. I said, okay, still not much more information. So then I've responded saying, great. Do you run a 10-week term? Is that right? And then she's just written back, yes. And okay, so I've responded again. And term 2 starts when school goes back after the holidays. Is that correct? Or could I come to a class before the end of term? Can you please send me more details? Then she sent a fairly long response with a few details. And then I said, perfect, thank you, I'll see you Wednesday. So basically she gave me the details and I could come. I did pay, by the way. So anyway, so that's the first touch point of this journey, which was not great. So then the next thing, I turned up and I didn't know where to go. I didn't know, there was no direction. So it was in quite a big complex and there was upstairs and downstairs and I had no guidance. So I walked into the building and had to ask someone, where are the dance classes? And oh, I'm pretty sure they're downstairs. So I'm like, okay, walk downstairs. And then as I walked in, I've clearly identified her as the teacher, and there was no effort to greet me at the door. There was no real, hi, so I'm so glad you're here and welcome. And there was none of that. There was no guidance. There was no introduction to the rest of the class that was there. There were 2 other new people trialing on the same night I was there, and we were literally just almost ignored. It was really, really interesting and very eye-opening for me as I put my business hat on and just go, wow. And so nothing. I didn't know where to put my bag. I didn't know where I should be standing. I didn't even know where the front of the room was. I didn't know if she was going to be standing, at the narrow side or the long side. Anyway, got through it. Even the people in the class weren't even that nice either, which is probably, I don't know, maybe reflects her a little bit, which is totally fine. Maybe they're her people. But it was just a really good reminder of how important that communication is from the very beginning. As a result of that, I didn't actually end up going back. She did send a message 3 weeks later just saying, oh, just wondering if you're going to come back. I'm like, oh, no, thank you, but no thank you. But, even really before I left, my decision was made, unless it really blew me out of the water. But the classroom experience didn't even blow me out of the water. So that was just a real life example and a good reminder that those little things really matter. So how can you set the tone for new people who are coming in? The first thing I would recommend is fast and personalized responses. So if someone inquires about your classes, don't let them wait for days for a response. Now, this is even easier now with the automation that a lot of us are using, with AI integration that you're using. The ability to send a warm and personalized reply with everything they need to know is easier than ever now. And so this could look like a well-crafted email sequence. It could be, several in a row. It could be text. It could be social media posts. Think clever, how could you do this? If it's a particular time of year, you might be able to, set up a series. But you just want to think about the basics. Think about the questions for someone who's never danced before, or they've never been part of this world. What are the questions they're going to ask? What should I wear? Where should I park? What should I expect on the first day? And then a friendly reminder that they're in great hands. So we want to start building that trust before they even enter the studio. Another good idea is to do video. Of course, video is awesome. But a short video just showing the space. So here's the studios, this is where you park, this is the waiting area. Then you might want to do one on your team. Here's the team, or here's, that particular teacher who will be engaging with your child. Maybe, sneak peeks of classes in action. This removes the uncertainty and then gets families excited before they even arrive. We want them as familiar as possible. We want them to walk in feeling comfortable, basically. And then a personal touch. So whether that's that quick text or even a phone call the day before, the evening before, just saying, hey, student's name, we can't wait to see you in class tomorrow. It's just going to add that extra layer of warmth and connection. And it's those first impressions, they are everything. I've conversations with studio owners saying, I've got, it's so frustrating. People are booking in for trials, but they don't turn up. And I just think, okay, so then what is it that you can do right now to change that? And I'll say, I've sent them an email. I've reminded them. Did you call? Did you leave a voice message? Like, think of taking it up just that next step, because if they are feeling unsure, unprepared, or they're disconnected before they even step inside, it's going to be a lot harder to win them over. All right, step 2, the first class experience. Now, this is where the magic needs to happen. Once they walk in, the classroom experience then takes over. So your goal is to make them feel like they belong. We want them feeling comfortable. And here are just a few little things that you or your teachers can do. A really intentional and warm welcome. So not just a quick hello. Have a staff member or even an older student greet them. Greet them at the door as they walk in the studio. Show them where to put their bag and introduce them to others. If it's parents, introduce the parents to other parents. Next, you want to consider an engaging but low pressure start. So think about a new person coming into trial a class. If they're thrown into a situation with difficult choreography, it can be quite overwhelming. So instead, can you or your teachers get creative? Start with some fun confidence building activities that can help them settle in. Throughout the whole lesson, we want to be acknowledging with the new student, making eye contact, using that body language. It's really important that you're reading the personality type of the student who's in the classroom, because they might not be someone that wants attention on them. However, it's still important that we give them attention as the teacher. So if they're that type of person, and it's a good skill to have as a teacher to be able to essentially read the personality of the child in the class. It may be that you're just making eye contact and smiling at them, and that's the reassurance. But we just don't want them to think that they're not seen. And the amount of times that I've gone into classrooms with teachers who have basically asked the new person to stand at the side or sit and watch and not involve them is huge. And it is enough for them just to not come back, which is totally understandable. If they've basically been ignored, then why would they come back? Okay, now the next thing is having a 3-point exit strategy. So as they walk to the door, make sure first thing they hear something positive about their experience in the classroom, or something that you saw or thought was really great. We want them to leave with something positive. We also want to let them know what's happening next week, and we want them to leave excited to return. And that's a simple, so good having you here. I loved how you joined in with the turns and gave that a really good try. Next week, we're going to continue to progress that. Can't wait to see you next week. And so that's all it needs to be, just so they, again, feel acknowledged and seen, and they can walk going, oh, okay, wow, they really did see what I was doing. And then finally in this sequence is that post-class follow-up. So sending a quick message, particularly to their parent. Now, again, if you can do a phone call, that's awesome. If not, a quick text or email, and just basically, hey, with the parent's name, your child did such an amazing job today. I loved having them in the class, and we're so excited to see them again next week. Let us know if you have any questions. So it's a simple but intentional classroom experience. It's what converts those first-time students into long-term dancers. And I honestly just thought this is what everyone did, because over my years, this is just what we did. And of course, I improved it and got it more intentional as I got more experienced. But the amount of studio owners that don't do this, and it came clear when I started working with the girls in the mastermind, and just we break down the whole customer journey. Or they'll say, I can get them in the door and they're doing the class, but they're not coming back. Then we break it down, and we can find out where all the holes are and pinpoint them and change it. And those smallest tweaks made a huge, huge difference. Okay, moving on to step 3. Now, the first 30 days is where you're going to win or lose retention. It's a big mistake studio owners make is they assume once a student's enrolled that they're going to stay. But statistically, when I look at the data, the most drop-offs happen within that first month. So to prevent this, you need a structured, proactive touch points to keep those students and parents reassured. Now, this is what this can look like. So week 1, you do the check-in. That's your call, your text, your email to the parents. And that's as simply, hey, parent name, just checking in to see how so-and-so is enjoying the classes. Let us know if there's anything I can do to support them. That's it, week 1. Don't expect a response back. It's always lovely to have one back, but it's more about you reaching out to them. Next, week 2 is to share a win. So send a photo, a video of their child in class with a message about their progress. Now, parents are going to love this because it makes them feel like their child's being seen. And now you can do this through the Band app. You might have another type of app or a WhatsApp group that you have with parents. A text, just send them a quick photo and text or video. Makes a huge difference. Okay, so that's week 1's a check-in, week 2 is sharing the win, and then week 4, you want to be talking about the next step. Okay, so this conversation is going to look different depending what time of year it is, what week of the term it is, but I want you to think about talking about the progress, so something that they're working towards, something about progress, goals, and what's coming up. So it could be that we're 6 weeks out from our mid-year concert, so we're getting all ready to plan for that. We'd love for so-and-so to be involved in that. This is where you are starting to sort of future cast them in the studio. So it's giving that sense of you're here for the long run. This is what we've got to look forward to. And so that week 4 one is really crucial. So it's 4 weeks after they've started. All right, next thing. Step 4, there's the retention beyond that month 1. So it's creating that space that they don't want to leave. So once a student's made it past that first month, the focus then shifts to community and commitment. And here's some ways to make your studio a place where they never want to leave. First thing is encouraging the friendships and relationships at the studio. The stronger the connections are with other students, the more likely that they're going to stay. I would always make a distinction with parents and with the students about having dance friends versus their school friends. And I liked this in conversations because if students were having a particular rough time at school or feeling, they didn't really love being there at school where they have to be 5 days a week, coming to dance was a different experience with a different bunch of people. And I used to say that to the parents a lot as well as a reassurance. We have students from all over different schools in the area, so it's its own special friendship group once they come to dance. And that seemed to make a really big difference for a lot of parents. Okay, next thing is to celebrate the progress. So students stay where they feel valued and where they're recognised. So whether it's progress tracking, whether you do achievement certificates, or even if it's just class shout outs, you want to be finding ways to make them feel seen. And then finally is making the parents part of the journey, because parents are your retention partners. You want to keep them engaged through regular updates. You want parent appreciation events or things you can do to shout them out, and those personal touches that are going to show that you care. And a really simple one is remembering their name. Now, it really is as simple as it sounds, remembering their name. I was so good at this back in the day, remembering names. I could even remember partners' names, so husbands' names or the students' dads' names. I often could remember siblings' names. And this was when I had over 1,000 students. It was just a skill that I had back then, and it made such a difference because in a studio that was huge numbers-wise, the parents who came never actually realized the size of the studio because they felt it was personal. It was personalized to them. They were not just a number or an enrollment in a studio. And I can remember at a concert, a parent came out and goes, I had no idea that the studio was this size. I'm like, this is one concert of 5 and they're all different people in every concert. And she's like, I had no idea. I can't believe that you remember who I am and what I do. And that really stuck with me. Right now, I can't even remember what I did yesterday. So I definitely have lost that skill. But if you have the ability to do that, it is free, it is simple, and it is something that can be a real game changer. Okay, let's recap. Retention starts before a customer steps into the studio. So your onboarding process needs to be warm, it needs to be clear and intentional. Okay, next thing, the first class should feel like a celebration and not just another day. So students should walk out feeling accomplished, like they need to have danced, and the parents should also feel reassured. Okay, the first 30 days are crucial. So this is when you want to be doing your regular check-ins, the encouragement, the personalized touches to keep those families engaged. And then the long-term retention is about relationships with the students, with the parents, and your studio community. So if you can master the onboarding and classroom experience, you won't just fill your classes, you will create a studio filled with loyal, long-time students. So there you have it. I hope this has been really helpful for you, and I really appreciate you tuning in. If this episode's given you any light bulb moments, please do let me know. I do love hearing from you. This process now is a lot easier. So it might feel like a lot and feel like I haven't got time for this. I'm so busy with everything else. And I do get that. I hear you. However, we have the ability now to integrate automation. We have the ability to improve our systems and utilize AI to keep this process simple so that you and your team can then focus in on connection and the experience and the in-person stuff. And that's where we want to be utilizing what we can with the technology side of things. Now, if you want to know more about the AI tools that I've developed, please reach out. Just send me a DM on Instagram and I will send you the details. Otherwise, there are so many things. You're actually probably using AI more than you even think. Because it's so good. And when you become more and more aware of it, you can start utilizing it even better, because this process is the start of the foundation building of the studio that is able to then scale. All right, I hope you have a really great week. Until next time, just keep creating magic. Thanks for tuning in to the Dance Studio Scaled podcast. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other studio owners who would love it too. And let's keep the conversation going. Follow me on Instagram at Jen Dalton for more tips, insights, and behind-the-scenes moments to help you simplify and scale your studio. Until next time, keep dreaming big and taking action. I'll see you back here soon.